Welcome back to JK McLeod. Today I'm working on the Tillotson HL from the David Bradley 917.60004, which is the direct drive counterpart of the David Bradley 360. The carb is an HL11A. The rebuild kit is an RK88. And with these old HLs, there's a difference between the new kits and the old kits. And the old style had a little rubber seat that went inside here, and the needle just kind of, let me see if I get that in front of me, just kind of rested like that, and it was the weight of gravity that just released the needle from the seat every time the diaphragm would go around. On the new ones, the seat is solid, but the needle has a small rubber tip on it, and the fulcrum has a little fork end on it that fits into a notch. So what it does is, it prevents the needle from sticking. If it gets all gummed up, it actually pulls it out of the seat. It's a good method. I've had a reasonable amount of success with it, but as far as like the really old stuff, like we're talking 1956 here, the old style I find works better. These things, the little, this little forked fulcrum here, they never quite stamp them out right. What I run across is that when it sits with the fork in there, it kind of sits in an angle this way. It never quite, the old time it sits on top and just lets gravity do its thing, but here it actually pulls it out and it sits a little lower. So the fork is always at an angle, and you have to bend it, and it takes a bit more adjustment to do, and they never quite get the width of these right. The last 4 or 5 kits I've done with this, I've had to sand both sides because it binds up on the carb. So wherever and whenever I try to use the old needle and seat, if I can find a little seat, sometimes I'll replace them. If I can get it to hold vacuum, then we're good. But I prefer this old style. Okay, and also, some guys do it, some guys don't. As old as this is, I figured I'd do it. No, he's still there. Yes, we're still recording. Okay, and underneath the welch plug are a few small ports. Let me see if I get anyway, a little flashlight here. Little flashlight. Let me see if I can see if I can get it to light. But if you shine a light through it, I don't know if you can see on the inside. That's where one of the ports go. And there's two small ones, two more down, and one that comes in from the side. I guess that actually feed it. But make sure those passages are clear. It's a lot more effort to sit there and to carefully drill it out or take a punch and get out the old welch plug. But those little passages, especially when it comes to the high side, are well worth it. What I do is I put the new plug in. It just kind of sits in like that. And I take a 1/4 inch driver. It has a nice rounded edge to it. Spreads it out, and then I take a little either clear nail polish or something acrylic, and just fill in the gaps over here so it separates the gas in here from the gas out there, so this way nothing leaks. Those little extra steps will make rebuilding a whole lot easier and a bit more reliable. Okay, let me get this all back together and see what we get. Okay, this part here is a bit unnerving. The welch plug just kind of sits in there, and as you hammer the top, it spreads out and locks itself into that hole. gently. You may have to gauge yourself. Start off with a few light taps and just get it to where it's not going to come out. Just don't hammer it too hard. And put a little divot in it, and that's pretty much all you need. As you hit the dome, it spreads out and locks itself into the side. And a little bit of nail polish, and you're good. There we go, finally found it. And what I do is take a little bit of a clear nail polish and just make sure you get all the edges. If there's anything in there, just don't go over the edge. Make sure everything stays there. Yep, that'll work. And that's all you need. Now that little welch plug is fuel tight anyway. There you go. Wait till it dries, put everything back together, and we'll give it a vacuum test. There we go. Check our work here. It pops off at about, I don't know, 12-ish pounds. Bleeds down to about 8, 10. And kind of holds it. It takes about another, I don't know, 5 minutes before it bleeds down to about 2 pounds. For something this old and dry, once we put fuel in it, the seat will expand and it'll make a better seal. But I think we got it. Well, rebuild kit, new gaskets, new fuel line. It's on there. Let's see what we get. Oh, she sputtered. There we go. Good. Needs a bit more of adjustment. Let it warm up, blow out the cobwebs. Yeah, that's it. Now we got that going good. Next thing is the sprocket. Because it's, as you can see, the chain is loosening and tightening. It's not quite sitting in the channel properly. So I'll put a new sprocket on there. You have to chamfer the edge of the bar to get it to fit. After that, you can go out and play and cut some wood. Put this old gal to the test.